Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Bethany, and today's recipe I'm going to be showing you how to make shrimp pasta. And this is not just any shrimp pasta, this is the dish that my mom made for me years ago that actually made me love shrimp. I'm not a huge shrimp person, and in this dish I just feel like it shines, it's so flavorful, and the dish is just so bright, and it has pasta, which I love. It's so delicious, so I'm excited to share it with you. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is get our shrimp ready for this recipe. And I know that the easiest thing to do with shrimp would be to buy already deveined and deshelled shrimp. However, this recipe actually utilizes the whole shrimp. So we're going to be using the shell on and deveining it ourselves because we want to use as much flavor from the shrimp as we can. So I have about 18 jumbo shrimp here that were previously frozen. My mom always taught me to use Gulf shrimp, so I'm using that. And these are from Key West. And I thawed them in some cold water, and I have a little bit of ice in there too to just keep them cold. So what I have is a couple bowls set up here. So I have a bowl of water here that's actually gonna be for our brine for the shrimp. And then I just have like a bowl here to get all our shells, because we're gonna keep our shells. So the first thing that we'll do is get our brine ready for the shrimp. So I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of kosher salt and then 2 tablespoons of sugar. And what this is gonna do is really lock in some flavor into the shrimp while we prep everything else. And I'll just mix the sugar and salt into the water. As I said, I'm not a huge shrimp person, so this dish really does speak volumes because it's so good, and this brining really helps, again, just lock in a lot of flavor. So first, we're gonna start deshelling our shrimp. So just wanna take it from the belly and slip everything off. These shells we're gonna use in a stock, and that's gonna really flavor the sauce of this dish and the entire dish. It's gonna give it a nice shrimp flavor. Okay, and we'll take all the legs, shell, plop it in that extra bowl. We'll put our shrimp into the brine and repeat that. And I think my main issue with shrimp is just kind of a textural thing. It can be a little squeaky and a little bland in dishes that I've had it in, but it's not in this. So I really love it. I'm not a huge seafood person. So I think this is this my first? I think this is my first YouTube video that's a seafood recipe. So that's a big deal. It shows how good it is. Okay, so after deshelling all of the shrimp, we have our shells and tails all reserved in a bowl that's separate. We're gonna use those in just a minute. But before that, we still need to devein our shrimp. And so I have everything in the brine here. I don't always throw it in the brine before deveining. You can kind of do it in any order that you want. But now we're gonna devein the shrimp. So I have paper towels here. I'll just use a little paring knife. And what you're gonna do, if you've never deveined shrimp, is you're just gonna take a paring knife and slice it right down the back of the shrimp, all the way down. And inside, you're going to see a dark little vein looking thing. And that is actually the shrimp's digestive tract. We will say no more on that. All I will say is make sure you devein your shrimp, because you don't wanna leave that in there. And what I do is I just take a paper towel and just wipe that right out. Pull the whole thing out. It's not always dark. I do just want to say that. Sometimes the vein is clear and there's nothing in it. So you still want to remove it. And we'll put that right back in there. We'll be able to decipher the different shrimps by just seeing that they've been sliced on the back. And we'll keep continuing to do that until they're all deveined. All right, so now that our shrimp is deveined, deshelled, and it's marinating in our brine, we're gonna refrigerate this before we move on to making our stock. All right, so we got our pasta water ready to go. There's kind of a progression in this recipe, so I'm getting that started, ready to boil. Not cooking the pasta yet, but just getting the water hot and boiling. And then we have a pretty big saucepan here, and we're gonna cook all of our dish in this. But first, we're gonna work on our shells for the stock. So we're gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil to the pan just to help brown the shells. And we'll add the shells right in. And I have this on like a medium heat. And I'm just gonna stir the shells around, saute them a little bit for about a minute or two. We just wanna kind of toast them just to get a little bit more flavor out of that so it can release into the stock. Okay, so that should be good. And now we're gonna add 1 1/4 cup of white wine. I'm using Pinot Grigio, and this is gonna be the base for our stock. And we'll add that in. You wanna make sure you're kind of away or you're gonna get a steam bath from this. And then we'll stir that in with our shells. I'm not a big drinker. I honestly never drink, but I love the smell of a wine in a dish. And the taste. It always adds so much more flavor. So now we're actually just gonna let the stock and the wine cook for really 4 to 5 minutes, no more than that. It just needs a few minutes to develop flavor, and then we will strain this and get ready to make the rest of our sauce. And while our shrimp stock is cooking, we don't want that to be simmering away. It's on a gentle simmer because we don't want this to reduce a ton. So that's why it should be no more than 4 or 5 minutes. And so while that's cooking, I'm gonna get my garlic cloves ready. This recipe involves a lot of garlic, and I'm gonna be using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm using 10 garlic cloves, so you can use 8 to 10. And don't worry, it's not gonna be overwhelming, but garlic is flavor, so you can use a little bit less if you want to. But we're gonna be using a good amount in this, and we're gonna just slice these up. We're not gonna mince it, but we're just gonna slice it. A little bit thinner. And it doesn't need to be super thin, just like an even slice. All right, so our stock is done. So what I'm gonna do is just take a sieve and put it over a liquid measuring cup or a bowl, and we're just going to pour our stock over that. Strain off all that delicious stock, and we'll discard our shells. Now we're going to take the same pan and just wipe out that extra shells in there, the legs, the grittiness, because we're gonna use the same pan. This pan has a lot of flavor from the shrimp. All right, so we're gonna bring our pan back up to heat. I kind of shut mine off when the stock was done. And now we're gonna add another tablespoon of olive oil. And then we're gonna add our garlic to the pan. My pan is kind of low right now, so I'll wait for that to come back up. But better low than super hot and burning our garlic. I'm just gonna saute the garlic in the oil, wait for the pan to come back up, and we'll just cook this for about a minute. You wanna really watch this. We don't want the garlic to burn. And actually, one of my favorite things about this dish is the bites of garlic in it. They're cooked so nicely in this, and I just love garlic. I don't know about you, but I love garlic, and I think it just is so nice in this dish. It's not in little pieces or pressed at all. It's just like bigger pieces of garlic, and they're cooked really nicely, and they just taste so good. So I love them in this. And then at this point, while the garlic is cooking, we're gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. This is just for a little bit of heat. We'll saute that with the garlic. So my garlic has been cooking for about 2 minutes, a little bit more than 1 minute. It's just gonna depend on how thin you slice it. So it'll be 1 to 2 minutes with that garlic cooking. So now it's soft, it's good. So now we're gonna add our stock that we made. Then we're gonna add 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. This really brings such brightness to this dish. I love the lemon in it. And lemon, shrimp, and garlic are just delicious together. And typically whenever I'm using lemon, I always include the zest in it, but I feel like with this dish, the acidity from the juice is really only needed. So that's why I'm not using the zest. Then to this, I'm gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then a healthy pinch of salt. And we'll stir that together. All right, next we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter to our sauce, and this is gonna help it emulsify and get a nice little rich taste to it. But we're gonna add 1 tablespoon at a time, and we're gonna mix constantly. I'm gonna use a different spoon. And we're adding the butter slowly just so that our sauce doesn't break. It emulsifies and comes together nicely. So as you can see, this sauce is changing. It's got a little bit more body to it. And we'll add our last tablespoon of butter in. So now that our sauce is done, before we add our shrimp, because that's gonna cook pretty quickly, we're gonna first add our pasta to the pot so that those can cook simultaneously so everything can be ready at the same time. Okay, so the pasta that I'm using is tagliatelle, and you can also use pappardelle, whatever you like. I like to use just kind of like a ribbon-shaped pasta for this. You could also use angel hair or spaghetti. So we're gonna cook this until al dente, just according to the package, and we'll add that to our salted boiling water, and we'll stir that after we add it. That really helps it prevent from sticking together. All right, so we have our shrimp that was marinating in our brine in the fridge, and we took that out. So now we're just gonna shake that off, all that water and brine, and put it in our sauce. We don't need to rinse it or anything like that. That's gonna give flavor. That's why we didn't put a lot of salt into the sauce, is because the shrimp should be well flavored. And this is jumbo shrimp, so it's gonna take about 4 to 5 minutes for it to fully cook. And you'll know that it's cooked when it turns a nice opaque color and the shrimp will curl up kind of nicely. Oh, I found a shrimp that was not deveined, so I gotta devein that. Seriously, just when you think you're done, you find another one that's not deveined. All right, so my burner was a little low. I'm just upping it to medium heat, and we don't want to boil the heck out of our shrimp, but we just want it to be at a nice little gentle heat, and we're gonna cover it and let them cook for about 4 to 5 minutes. If you have smaller shrimp, it'll be probably about 3 to 4 minutes. So you might need to adjust that just based on the size of the shrimp. So the shrimp is almost done. We drained our pasta. I personally don't love draining the pasta. I like transferring it from the pot, but it was done before the shrimp was. This looks great. It smells so good. You can smell just the garlic, the butter. So now we can add our chopped parsley. And this just adds such a nice fresh taste. Typically I use basil and everything, but the parsley is great in this dish. All right, and now I'm gonna take my pasta. Like I said, I don't love straining it because then it all sticks together, but it's gonna come together with the pasta water that we have. We'll just throw that in there, and we did 1 pound of pasta. And we didn't just drain the pasta, we also reserved about 2 to 3 cups of pasta water. I always save more than I need, but that is really going to help bring the dish together, especially if that sauce really absorbs up. But it's also gonna add a nice starchiness, which will help kind of thicken everything. But first, I'm gonna just really make sure everything is tossed with pasta and the shrimp. Okay, so now we're gonna do a cup of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. There is 1.5 cups of it in this recipe, but we're just gonna do this in batches. We'll first do a nice heaping cup. And I recommend finely grating this. I always recommend freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano if you're familiar with my recipes. But finely grating is really going to help it incorporate nicely into this. Otherwise, it's gonna be big chunks of cheese that's not fully melted, and we don't want that. We want this to turn into a nice creamy sauce. And I don't want my sauce simmering away, so what I'm gonna do is just lower the heat. We only need a little bit of heat in this step. We don't want it to start sucking up all that sauce, so we'll keep that low. And our shrimp is cooked, so we don't need it to overcook it. I'm gonna add a little bit of my pasta water. And what you're gonna do is just do this in batches. You'll just grate your cheese, add a little bit of pasta water as needed, and just keep going until you've done your full serving of the Parmigiano Reggiano. All right, so we did the cheese and the pasta water, and those two together are really what helps bring all the ingredients together, because the dish can be a little bit more liquidy with just the lemon sauce. So that starch from the pasta water is really key for just bringing everything together and thickening it just a little bit. And it can bring the dish back and revive it a little bit if it's too dry, because this dish is kind of known for when I cook it for like an event. I actually made this for Mother's Day for my mom because she loves this dish. And I had to definitely have more pasta water on hand because it kept kind of drying up as we were eating it, and then I needed to revive it. So it's always good to have more of that than you need. But like I said, my mom made me this dish years ago. I have changed a few things in the recipe since she made it, but it's so good and it's just so simple, but it tastes really elevated. So we're gonna taste it now. And I'm just gonna take it out of the pot. The first taste is just that lemon and the garlic. It is so flavorful and so good. The shrimp is also just really tender. It just is truly, to me, the best shrimp dish that I've ever had. I just feel like shrimp can be so bland and so unappealing to me, just me as a non-shrimp fan. And this is just so delicious. It's so vibrant with flavor. You have the herbs and that nice butter that we added, which just adds a little bit of richness with that Parmigiano Reggiano. It's so good. This is just a restaurant quality pasta dish, and you can make it at home. It's so easy. I just feel like there's so much shrimp flavor in this dish because of that stock that we made with the shells and the white wine. So there is no saying that this dish is bland because it is so many ingredients that are layered into it. It's so good. So now I'm gonna have Drew come and taste it because he is also someone that does not love shrimp, and this was one of those dishes that also converted him. So we'll have him taste it too. All right, Drew's here to taste. Welcome.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Drew is also not as big of a seafood fan.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I am, but
I think it's more a textural thing, usually. But
yeah.
This dish is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we were just on vacation and we were both like, oh, we love shrimp in this dish. So we're like, let's get a shrimp dish on our vacation. And it was not good at all. It made us realize this is why we don't like shrimp. So, but this one is very different.
It's insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. And like I said before, like for me, it's usually a textural thing, but that just goes away somehow and it's perfect.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Even the parsley is a good addition. Like I can taste that and it's really good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the pasta's delicious too. I mean, if you didn't have shrimp in this and you ate all the shrimp, you would still have so much shrimp flavor in the pasta because of that stock that was made. So the whole dish just has tons of flavor from all the steps that were taken.
So good. Yeah. Where would this rank as far as like your top pasta dishes? I know that's probably hard to rank, like pasta dishes in general. But
yeah. I mean, I love like a ragu and bolognese and lasagna and cherry tomato pasta and the list goes on.
Okay, all right, so way below. Okay.
No, I love this.
Bad
I mean,
question.
It's delicious, but I have so many other pasta dishes. You're asking a very tough question.
It's true. Well, you're pretty good at cooking.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, well, that's everything for today. So if you guys are a fan of shrimp, and if you're not, I definitely recommend trying this dish because it really is a surprise. It's so flavorful and it's not too complicated to put together. I tried to really simplify it as much as I could, but it's so worth it and it's delicious. I hope you guys try it. And yeah, I think that's everything for today. So as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you feel like you're enjoying the videos. If you're a longtime viewer and you've not subscribed, feel free to, but there's no pressure on our side. We're just really grateful that everyone that's been here in the comments week after week is enjoying everything. And yeah, so thank you guys so much. And as always, I'll catch you in the next recipe and I'll see you in the comments.